Hello girls, gays, and non-binary babes. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Boston. Today I am so excited for this video. I'm going to be talking about the books from my childhood that got me into reading, that made me who I am as a person. I did get this video idea from Woody Novels. I'm not sure if her video is still up. It depends on if her channel is still up. I can't quite remember, but I did get my idea from her, so thank you, Whitney. Appreciate it. She talked about books from her like teenage years, early teenage years. I'm going to be talking about books that were read to me because I couldn't read up until probably 7th grade, so like when I was 12. So all my childhood years and preteen years. I have quite a few books to talk about. I just went through a big box that is currently in storage next door. My mom saved all of my childhood books, most of them. There were a couple that I knew I owned that for whatever reason I don't have anymore. A lot of them are still in really good condition. Some of them I've bought myself, like repurchased because something happened to them. I'm not sure what would have happened to them. If they were maybe sold at a yard sale, something like that, but no harm done. They're like $5 to buy online, so can't be too mad. But I have so many that I saved, so we're gonna jump right on into it. We're gonna go in chronological order as best I can remember, starting with the book that was read to me in my childhood, and then I eventually kind of learned how to read off of that book. So that would be The Velveteen Rabbit. I don't even know who this is by. There's no author. Adapted from the story by Marjorie Williams, illustrated by Judith Sutton. There we go. So this one is obviously a different edition than most people know about. Hold on, let me see if I can find my favorite picture. It's Velveteen Rabbit in the wagon. I love it so much. But I do have a tattoo of the original because it meant so much to me as a child. So the next few books are pretty much picture books with like some words. These are a lot of them were in the category, at least the first two, the I can read books. The first one is my first I can read book. The second one is a level 2, I think. So we're moving up. The first one I have is Biscuit by Alyssa Satin Capicilli, and pictures by Pat Shores. I have so many of these. I have a lot. I'll tell you guys what books I have a ton of. I have a lot of Biscuit books. I used to get these from the Scholastic Reader magazines, or can you call them magazines? Pamphlets, I guess. But these are just super simple. I love Biscuit so much. He's so cute, and it just follows him doing different stuff. Yeah. So that's the first I can read book. The second one I have a ton of these, and by a ton I mean like actually 20 of them. I didn't count them, but it was pretty much 20. And that is Henry and Mudge. This I think is very specific to me. I've never heard anybody else talk about it. But I had so many of these. These are about a boy and his dog and their adventures. And oh my god, they're just so cute. I loved these. This one made me afraid of bees, I'm pretty sure, because the boy gets stung by a bee on the hand. And I hate bees, or I don't hate them, I fear them. So that's probably where I got that fear from. Okay, next up we have a classic. I left out a lot of classics like Junie B. Jones and stuff like that just because I feel like most people have read some of those, so I wanted to make a video about ones that are kind of like specific to me. I have like 30 Junie B. Jones books. I loved them, but I feel like everybody's read them, so I don't really feel like I need to talk about them. These ones are pretty popular too. These are the Little Critter books by Mercer Mayer. This one was one of my favorites, Just Go to Bed. It's about little critter not wanting to go to bed, doing all he says he's I'm a sea monster attacking a ship. And then Dad says it's time for the sea monster to have a snack. Get ready for bed. I loved these books. I have a ton of these as well. As you can see, a lot were made. This is a fraction of how many there were, how many I've read. I remember them all vividly. These are the more modern styles. I think they got a new illustrator. So it may look a little different than what some older people than me are used to, but I love Little Critter. Next we have another book that was kind of read to me, but I would read along, and that is The Monster at the End of This Book, starring lovable furry old Grover. Who's this by? Authors on the inside. Written by John Stone, illustrated by Mike Smolin. I love this. This is where I get my humor from. This was my humor source. Basically, it's just Grover telling you not to turn the page, and then when you turn the page, he gets mad at you. Look. I still find this funny. As you can see, this is my kind of humor. But I loved this. I read this so many times. Okay, next we have the OG gays in children's literature, and that's Frog and Toad. One of the origins of cottagecore for me. I love Frog and Toad. This one is really funny because it says Frog and Toad are friends. Honey, they're more than friends. Frog and Toad together, that's more like it. These turned me into the cottagecore gay that I am. Continuing down the cottagecore gay route, we have Fairy Realm. This is the Charm Bracelet. It's the first book. I have like 5 or 6 of them, but this is the first one. They're 10 bucks, and these are like chapter books. This is where we get into like ages 7 to 10. There we go. This is about a fairy realm that a girl discovers in her backyard. I think it's her backyard. But there are all these magical things in the fairy realm. I loved this series so much. So much. I actually thought I was like one of the only people that knew about these books, but I asked on Twitter when I was originally trying to find the title of them that a lot of people read these books and they're very popular. So that makes me happy that I wasn't the only fairy gal out there. But yeah, this cover is also kind of like shiny / holographic. I'm into it. So honestly, these books were on another level for the age range that they're for. Like, I'm gonna go back and reread them, but I'm pretty sure the world building is like solid. And it didn't need to be, you know, it's a chapter book, so just saying. Okay, next I have these bad boys. It's really funny because I remember Fairy Realm and these books specifically, I remember where they were in my elementary school library, because I used to read them so much. And that is the Animal Arc books. This is the only one I have left, and it's stained pretty bad. So I'd like to get maybe like 1 or 2 just to have, but this is the only one I have left. And I've read almost all of them except for the, what was it called? Wolfhound in the dungeon, I think the title was, and I borrowed that one from the public library. Never read it because I was too scared because the dog scared me on the cover. But I read this one, Stallion in Spooky Hollow. I really liked being scared when I was little, but I was not ready for wolfhounds. That was a little too scary for me. If you've seen the cover of it, if you look up the cover, it's terrifying. So I think I was in my right mind. Just saying, I'll pass on that one. But yeah, Animal Arc, loved these. The next books I don't have copies of. I really want to get copies, but I've only read a few of the 90 book series. 90 book series, if not more. At least 90 books. That's the Thoroughbred series. I loved horses. I was a horse girl without a horse. I never took horseback riding lessons. I was scared of heights, but I loved horses. And animals in general, obviously. So I read the first 3, and then I read it was like a Christmas one that followed the original character's daughter. Like, that's how long this series goes on for. It's insane. But I loved it. And obviously it was pretty popular because there were 90 books. Holy cow. I will not be getting that whole series. Probably just the first 2 or so. But I do want to buy some copies because they were integral to my childhood. Next, I have another book that I got from the Scholastic catalog that I bought. This is the second in a duology, but I think they're companions. This is Dolphin Song by Lauren St. John, the author of The White Giraffe. A lot of people have read that one. I haven't. I've just read this one because I like dolphins. But this is about a girl who lives on a wildlife reserve. She takes a school trip, and her classmates and her are thrown overboard into shark-infested waters. I read this when I was like 8. This is where my fear of water comes from. I read this a lot. A lot. I loved it. I love the dolphins. It's a very feel-good story, but also very terrifying. I'm pretty sure it gave me nightmares, but yeah, really liked this one. It's still in pretty good condition too. It's got a tear up here that's taped back together, but yeah, this one's in really good condition considering how much I read it and how old it is. The next book I have, I'm gonna stop on really quickly because a lot of younger girls read this one. The Clique by Lacey Harrison. I loved this. I loved it. This girl's too pretty. I know she would have been one of the main girls in this book. Oh, there's a what's this? Oh, I found a little. No way. This is a slip from 2011. It's just like a slip that was sent home. Your child was prepared for every red team class this week. He/she had all the necessary materials and homework assignments completed. That's what we call responsible, excellent, and diligent. Wow, and that's my name at the bottom there. That's from January 21st, 2011. Wow. I can't believe I found that in there. That's funny. So I guess the last time I read this was in 2011. Never seen the movie. I think I read almost all of the books, and I also had the individual books on the girls. It was like the summer series, something like that, but yeah, I will never own a pair of Keds after reading this series. Traumatized me for life from ever buying Keds. We'll just say that. The next book I don't have a copy of either, but this was a longer one. I'm pretty sure I read this in like one sitting, and that is Fire Horse. Can't remember who it's by, but I got this from my Scholastic catalog, and I got it because it takes place in Boston. I was a simple child. This one was about a horse that was rescued by this girl because this horse was in a fire. She had to take care of it, and it takes place during I can't remember what it was called, but like the big fire in Boston, and it takes place during that, at least the ending does. But I loved this. It was like 500 pages. It was my first like long book, and I loved it. I read it quite a few times. Next, I have a series. This is really interesting because a lot of people read the other series that this author did, and you will know exactly what it is as soon as I show you the cover, but I really loved Seekers. This is by Aaron Hunter. Most people have read Warriors. I do have the whole, I thought it was a trilogy. Apparently it's a quartet now. I'm not sure. Let me check the No, looks like it's just a trilogy, but these are about bears, and 3 bears, a black bear, a brown bear, and a polar bear, and it's very unrealistic. This would never happen in real life, but they are going to this mountain, Smoke Mountain, and it follows their adventure. And I really remember from these books the way they saw cars, like, and that kind of changed my perspective on everything when I was younger. So they see cars as like metal bears, big metal bears, and it was really funny. And I couldn't figure out at first what they were trying to like talk about. I thought they were talking about these big metal bears at first, but then I realized, oh, these are cars. But it was really funny seeing like the world from a bear's perspective. But yeah, I'm sure everybody's read Warriors. I never read them because I was allergic to cats when I was little, so I didn't really like them. I'm still allergic to cats, but I didn't really like them when I was little, so I stuck with bears instead. Next, we have Madison Finn. This is by Laura Dower. I got these books, let me put my other 2 down. I got these books from a friend that, okay, long story. My sister used to play gymnastics, used to do gymnastics. That was weird. She used to do gymnastics. I used to have to go to her meets, and there was another girl on her team that had an older sister that was around my age, and she read these books and she would lend them to me or like give me ones that she didn't want, and I ate them up because I had nothing better to do during those 6-hour meets. So yeah, shout out to her for lending these to me. I have a few of them, but I think the covers are super interesting. They're like kind of like collaged into this picture. I don't think I'd like them now, but I used to really like these, and I've never ever seen these anywhere. So okay, second to last, we have Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. This I read for school. I bought my own copy, that's why it looks so good. This came from Amazon. This is about a girl who gets stranded on an island and has to survive on this island. But I love this so much, I used to pretend my backyard was an island and that I was stranded on it and I had to live. Okay, and finally we have The Outlier. This, yes, I read when I was preteen. Stephen King, Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. This was one of the first ones that I read. This was the first one I remember reading, so this one was the one I went with. I read it because the girl in the book gets lost in the woods and she listens to her Walkman and she listens to the Boston Red Sox games. I was a simple kid, what can I say? If I saw my name, I read the book. That's it. I keep hearing my phone going off, but I don't know where it is because it's like in a distance. But anyway, I don't know who let me read Stephen King when I was that young, but I read at a very young age. Thank God it didn't traumatize me, because it very well could have, but it didn't. I just read it because it had my name in it, and I loved it. Still do. Still have a copy. So yeah, that's that one. And that's it for this video. If you watched this far, holy cow, tell me what your favorite childhood book was in the comment. And if you read any of the same ones, because I'm really curious, because a lot of these I feel like are very obscure. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did watch this far, I love you. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.